Hello, everyone, and welcome to Geek and a Nerd, where this time we're both geeks and nerds. We're coming to you with the continuation of the pitch for the DC Comics universe reboot, Flashpoint on Infinite Earths. And here, as we
Absolutely.
discussed in the first one, by the way, I am D, and that
I'm
is,
Chucky Works.
and we're bringing this to you. So we started off with the idea of Bruce discovering a letter left by his father from the Button, trying to tell him that he needs to take out all of the Flashes. So every single Barry Allen on every single Earth needs to die.
So
Barry Allen,
basically, yeah, the start of it is in that Thomas Wayne universe, a flash detonated in some type of devastating bomb that deleted his universe. And Thomas Wayne was able to get this letter out to just give him an idea of what was happening. And then, obviously he gets erased. So Batman goes to investigate that. And that's where you had the idea that he kind of assembles a team.
and so what we started to is the members on the team Batman would have. Barry Allen was figuring out, because every time someone dies in the Speed Force, he gets more of it. So him and Reverse Flash started gathering as many Flashes as they could, but they had trouble because somebody was always killing them first, the
Exactly.
majority of the time.
Come to find out, Godspeed, who we've put in here, was a double agent because he's the only Flash that's able to split himself into actual copies of himself, but yet be aware both he's both on Batman's side and Eobard and Barry's side at the same time. And then also we had the idea that Black Flash gets recruited by Batman's side because Black Flash can not only maneuver through the positive and negative Speed Force, he's up there with Barry as far as the Flash. They created the Black Flash, God or whatever you want to say, created these units, created the Black Flash as a separate version of Death, specifically for speedsters because they could outrun Death. So that he's also known as the Black Racer for that. And the only way that even Barry was ever able to defeat him was he ran to the end of existence. Because if life doesn't exist anymore, death can't exist anymore. So that's how serious the Black Flash's powers are. And then let's talk about the Lex Luthor side of this.
Okay, so Lex Luthor was brought in to kind of bolster whatever resources that Bruce couldn't muster for this. And 2 points. One was, during this whole thing, Bruce could not be Batman because he knew what he was going to do was outside of the range of what he made Batman for. So Nightwing has become Batman. He took over the mantle, and in all
Damian Wayne
Batman,
and his Robin.
yeah, all Batman comics, he is now He is the new Batman, and this is something he didn't want to do because that's why I'm Nightwing. Like I'm gonna be my own man, be my own person.
So
So
in my head, the Trinity that's watching over it right now is Nightwing has become Batman. Damian Wayne, you can have him become a different Nightwing or still be Robin, and then you have Lucius Fox's Batwing as well, and then you have one of the Batgirls that you were saying, Cassandra.
yeah,
So
so
you basically have
but Nightwing as Batman is separate. He's Batman. He's
right.
not part of their
He
team.
is the new Batman. Yeah.
He's taking over Gotham, but it doesn't get revealed the conversation that they had until later is what did he tell him to make Nightwing become Batman? Because it's already established. It's not what he was going to do. It's not what he wanted to do. It's not something that he would do. So what did he tell him?
I also like the idea of as he takes over Batman, Damian Wayne elevates himself to the leader of the Titans because then we can have a Titans spinoff as well with what he's doing there. And then you kind of team up Batwing with Cassandra. So you have those two as like the adventures of Batman. You have Damian Wayne as the leader of the Titans, and then Nightwing as the new Batman going forward. So they're leading the Earth side of things, the Justice League, all that. Batman and his team are basically jumping universes.
Yeah,
And Lex Luthor,
they're a whole separate entity. Like what Batman's doing is separate from everybody else because he's no longer a hero. He's no longer Batman. He has Damian doing his thing on Earth. He has Nightwing taking over for him, and they're just doing their hero deal. Bruce is no longer a hero. He's no longer in the Justice League. He renounced all that because what he is doing is separate from anything that he's going against his own edict. Like he's killing a friend of his, and this is done purposefully. Like that.
And the way he's doing it is when they hop to this universe, he discovers what that Batman's contingency plan for that specific Flash was. So you're feeding in that whole Justice League Doom storyline of him having these contingency plans. Then you also have Lex Luthor, who in a way isn't a double agent. He's kind of just his own guy because he's communicating with each version of himself in these universes to let them know about what's going on, and also feeding back if that Lex has information that can help him in their overall goal. And then, like we said, we have Godspeed playing this true double agent on both sides. But what we talked about in one of the reasons why we pitched this video is this whole idea that they don't realize every time they kill a Flash and every time Black Flash kills a Flash specifically, they are feeding positive and negative Speed Force energy into Barry and Eobard. So that's why after the third or fourth Flash gets killed, Barry will eventually sense it in the Speed Force. He will sense that this is happening.
And so Godspeed has to know that. And
there's no way he wouldn't.
Luthor finds out because Godspeed tells him. Because Luthor and Godspeed have a conversation. I know what you're doing. I know what you want. You can't get it. I can help you achieve that goal.
People also forget Godspeed's a cop. Godspeed is a cop, so he can use that in these other universes as well to infiltrate different things and like that.
So Luthor offers Godspeed help to his ultimate goal. With that being said, Luthor now knows that Barry is getting faster. He told him, don't tell them that, because Godspeed was going to tell him, like, listen, we eventually is going to have to take care of the original Barry because he's going to be too strong. Well, goes, don't tell him. They said the Bat doesn't need to know that. This is what we're going to do. They're going to create.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So he creates, as a scientist, create a device that siphons from both the positive and negative Speed Force. So every time a Flash dies, Godspeed, the one they're with, gets imbued with positive Speed Force. The one that's with Flash is imbued with negative. So eventually what's going to happen is Godspeed will be twice as powerful as Flash and Reverse Flash.
So it would be a tachyon siphon is what they would most likely call it in that, because he's able to feed both. So what Godspeed's secret goal is not only does he know that it's making Barry and Eobard faster, he's learning from the Black Flash how to manipulate negative Speed Force energy. So his goal is to kill Barry and Eobard and then merge their Speed Force energy within himself and become like this ultimate god of the Speed Force. Little do we know that you can't maintain that level of power because you're just human. So as he's starting to build more and more power, he's splitting off other versions of himself to go and do this reconnaissance in the other universes. But what he doesn't realize is they're basically walking nukes for the universe. There's a time limit that they're able to do and hold this energy in before it becomes too much and ends up breaking up these universes, which Batman thinks is being caused by the Flash, but in reality is being caused by Godspeed.
And that's how the Button universe gets destroyed. And he thinks it's the Flash because you see a guy run real fast and blows up the Flash. Like, no one's thinking, oh, that's Godspeed. That's the problem. He just thought, hey, I just saw this Flash come by me. He exploded. Eventually, universe dies. So everybody thinks it's something else when it's really Godspeed. And Godspeed doesn't quite understand yet that he is going to be the ultimate destruction of the universe. Because right now, they all think it's going to be bad.
And then one of the post-credit scenes that you're going to see with Lex Luthor, if you want to call it that, a post-credit scene, is when shit really starts to go heavy and the battle starts going. He goes down to a vault, and the last panel is him opening this vault. And when you see the vault open, you just see the orange lantern ring that he got from Blackest Night, because it's still imbued with 24 hours worth of power. So for 24 hours, he could be an orange lantern.
So all that. Yeah, and he can do, and his thought is, well, Godspeed will get the power. I'll put the ring on. I'll defeat Godspeed. He has all the power. Now it's all mine. And now I don't what's your Superman? Like
So,
you can't
and
handle
that's
what
his
I have.
thing is he's going through the other universes trying to figure out how to contain this power within a mortal body because he can get it with the Orange Lantern ring. But after 24 hours, when that power wears off, he's going to end up being one of those detonators. So he takes that power when he knows he has a way that he thinks to be able to control it. And then we find out what that is that Lex kidnapped Max Mercury out of the Speed Force. And he's the one that created the siphon and we had the tachyon siphon. He created that because Lex forced him to do it. And it turns out Max is the one that knows how he can actually contain both because he's been studying both speed forces. So Lex is actually on this his own kind of secret mission to gather this power for himself because then he can take out Superman whatever he wants.
What's the name of the android that Lex created that took off into the
Amazo.
universe?
Amazo.
What would Lex have to do to have Amazo at least talk to him again and help him? Because pretty much Amazo told him, screw. Like I'm beyond you.
What I'm thinking is Lex will develop some like he modifies his mech suit to somehow be able to contain those speed force powers. That's my thought process behind it. Is that he somehow figures out how to siphon Orange Lantern energy, which while you have that will protect you from being overloaded by that power. So think
But
Metallo. Think how Metallo had like the kryptonite in his
yeah, the
chest. Think
kryptonite.
Lex powering his suit with the lantern ring.
He has to. He has to know that eventually that would fail.
Yeah.
So you would have to want Amazo to figure out how can I do this permanent. Like this is just a temporary fix. I need a permanent solution. How could Lex get Amazo to even talk to him to figure out what kind of permanent solution he could get?
And then you also have this whole side storyline of Hal when he finally comes in, and then Barry's like, "Why aren't the other lanterns helping?" And then we find out one of the contingency plans was they create a crisis on Mogo, and that in every dimension will summon all the lanterns to go help defend Mogo. So Hal is the last guy there, and then you figure Batman and Lex will have thought, "Oh, he's friends with Hal. This is how we can
Mm-hmm.
stop a Green Lantern," only to find out Hal is his own type of fucking lantern now.
Yeah,
Ever since he
yeah,
forged
Hal's
his own
separate.
ring. Yeah,
He's like,
he's
oh, by the way,
basically
I don't need that.
he's basically a god. Like he doesn't need to because that'll be the thing. It's like, oh, we can drain his ring. It's like, no, you can't because he doesn't charge with a battery. And then it's like you can't even kill him because he's got his emerald spirit form. So it's like he is the one guy you can't really remove off the map. So you have to figure out kind of how to distract him.
Hmm.
So like, where do you see more going with the Batman side of things?
Oh, they're offing all the flashes. They find ways and that's kind of whatever all the Elseworld stories kind of get brought into this because that Elseworld Flash, most of them are going to die, and then
And
you
I
just
like
see.
I want to do the reveal of Godspeed in like issue 3 or 4. And the final panel is we knew Godspeed was working with Lex Luthor and Batman this whole time. But in the top panel, you see Godspeed in the meeting room with Batman and Lex and all them. And then the next panel is at the same moment Godspeed is in the meeting room with Flash and
Yeah,
Hal.
and they're like, oh, there he is. He's with both. So
Yeah.
everybody has their own side projects. Bruce doesn't trust Lex. He knows he's up to something. Lex has this thing with Godspeed. Godspeed is playing them both and knows that Lex is going to try something, but I'm going to be so strong, there's nothing he can do.
Oh, you know what Lex wants? Lex, while they're is hopping these dimensions, is trying to gather all 7 colored lantern rings because if you can gather 7 and harness them, you can create a white lantern. And if he could harness the white lantern energy along with the Speed Force energy, he is literally a living god.
Hmm. Hmm. And he can recreate the universe
However he wants.
however he wants. Of course, it's that whole thing. Only I can fix it. Yes.
I love that idea of him being able to collect the lantern rings as his own secret quest. That's
And
fucking amazing.
at the very end, Godspeed achieves his goal. He gets all the energy. All the barriers die. Godspeed gets his goal. Luthor has the rings. He thinks he's going to be able to capture it, but it's more energy than any of them realize. Luthor gets wiped out. Godspeed starts to rip apart, and then you have to have.
You gotta wait because you gotta say the moment Lex gets overloaded and can't handle it, those rings will immediately search for replacements. So then we have people on the battlefield that are being deputized with rings. like they did in Blackest Night. So you know that blue ring is going to go right to fucking Barry. You know the yellow ring is going to go right to Eobard. So you got that, and then you're going to figure out what's going to go off to the different ones, and then you're going to have lantern infused people battling with these people that have the hybrid of the Speed Force, negative and positive.
And that's the way that they're able to pull Godspeed back together. Because in essence, as Godspeed gets rips apart, all these infinite universes are getting destroyed.
And then you realize the 7 people that have gotten rings have to come together, and they hit him with the White Lantern energy, which is enough to split him so that he ends up losing this power.
And as he gets split, that's what allowed. So they got to pretty much split it and bring him back together. It's one being, but they have to disimbue the power first. As they do that, that's what allows the DC writers to take the parts that they like and get rid of the parts they don't. So
it's 15 years since Blackest Night, and you're bringing that storyline back. The idea that Lex has had this orange ring in his, like, just in his privacy for 15 years. You know, he's been studying every aspect of it. You know that the events of Blackest Night, he saw it. He had to help do that team up to create the white light. So he knows that there's a god level power that's involved in this. He witnessed the battle against Necron and everything. And then it's also reinfusing that Blackest Night storyline into your comics, because we know you're doing it into the movies anyway. So it brings the different Lanterns relevant again. However, it brings the entire Flash family into relevancy. You can go deep cuts with that. Shit, you can even have an issue where fucking Turbo the Turtle Flash comes in and helps, and they get wiped out and stuff. And then you're bringing in Bat family stuff, and then you can even have it toward the end where, you know, Nightwing as Batman and them, they get word of what's happening and the battle's going down on their Earth, and 1 or 2 of them get deputized with rings. I mean, we can sort out who gets each ring, but like that's a serious consequence there, and that adds so much more to the battle.
And it based up that Nightwing is the greatest of the Bat family. He's the one, because now as Batman goes to his mission, like he's the one that's holding it all together.
He's the one that gets everybody to use their rings together. I like that a lot.
And that brings to the new universe where, I mean, they don't even have to start with Bruce as Batman. Bruce might, like, yeah, I'm good for now. And they can make another event what forces Bruce to be Batman again. But you can just mantle swap and have this like be the reset for a while where Nightwing is Batman for like a good few years. Like you don't need to bring him back immediately, because that's what ruins all the stuff is the rush. Like have an event 5 years down the line that makes Bruce come back. Until then, just leave it as is.
I just pictured this scene where like they try to drain Hal and use whatever weaknesses the Green Lanterns have, and it doesn't work. And then somewhere in another universe, Godspeed has a connection with Sinestro, and Sinestro just tells him like he's immortal, like he's a new kind of Lantern now. There's nothing you're going to be able to do. Why do you think I stopped fucking with him? Like there's nothing you can do to Hal Jordan. So he's kind of this omnipotent figure, but he's so scattered because he's having to be the Lantern for each of these Earths when they go there to deal with shit, because the other Lanterns are off dealing with Mogo.
And then Batman has to realize he needs a new contingency plan. Like he had nothing prepared for what Hal is.
And that's the thing, is that Hal is still discovering new things that he can do, because there's never been a Lantern other than when Kyle Rayner was Ion. There's never been a Lantern that didn't need to charge his ring, that wasn't susceptible to the other Lantern weaknesses, that had access to the Emerald Spectrum, like when he dies, quote unquote. This is all brand new stuff. So Batman is basing his contingencies in every universe off of what the limits of a Lantern. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing for this. And that freaks him out. And that's another reason why he's not like, I'm not ready to be Batman yet. What I saw, I didn't plan for, and I had nothing to stop that. Like we just got out of this by the skin of our teeth. I need to go and learn more so that I can prevent whatever may happen next.
I even see Sinestro helping join a different version of Sinestro on another journey. And when he goes at Hal and nothing happens, shit, he just fucking takes off. He's like, nope, no. Like the dude in the Geico commercial. Nope, no, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, it's that scene from Friday. You want some, old man? No.
So yeah, So people think like, oh, Batman's recruiting this whole team, and then you have Barry Allen's team where it's just him, Eobard, Hal, and Godspeed. It's like, how is that even going to be even? It's because you don't realize that that's basically 3 living gods with what they can do with the Speed Force and with what's happening with them getting stronger each time. I love that dynamic of Godspeed being the only one that knows that as they're killing these Flashes, they're actually powering up Barry and Eobard. And I love the idea of that reveal coming to both sides. And the whole idea of Eobard even teaming up with Barry because of the whole fucking, if anybody's going to kill this dude, it's going to be me. Like the level of ego involved in that and the storyline that you can write with that is so rich and original because it's an honest reason for him to join this battle. And then also once the Black Flash comes in, it puts serious stakes there for him because even he can't outrun the Black Flash. Black Flash is the only person currently in DC Comics that can control both negative and positive speed forces.
And that lets Godspeed, like that's his way. That's his end. To he thinks to get both. Like I will be like no death can catch me, but can't do anything with it.
Right.
Like, that's the best. Like I will run at death, knowing I don't fear him.
And that's the thing is, as Godspeed teams up with Blackfish taking out these speedsters, it's basically like watching CSI. It teaches you everything not to do if you don't want to get killed by the Black Flash. Like,
what did that last Barry do? He did that. Ooh, okay. Well, write that down. Let's not do that then. That didn't work out.
And in a way, it's a unique thing that DC's not really done because it's always usually these huge teams on each side. And this idea of like a 4-on-4 or a 5-on-5, you know what I mean? It adds a really dense layer of story where everyone has their own motives and each of their motives lead to the same goal in one way. It's almost like season 1 of Heroes, where it was 10 different characters, but over the course of the season, all their storylines intersected perfectly. And like that's the level of storytelling that we're going for here. And it's something that's not in comics right now. And I hate to keep relating back to Blackest Night, but it really is one of the best examples of taking every character in your universe and making a story that fits both their narrative and your overall arc in a way that's so fluid and organic.
And it keeps each character true to themselves, but it's a way for them. What would cause them to act different? What would cause Bruce to kind of do his to kill and go against that? What would cause Nightwing to don the mantle of Batman, knowing like there's a reason why he split away from that whole thing? But he has always been thought of as the greatest of the Bat family, and it puts him on that pedestal. Like there's a reason why he's running this.
And then with going with the reboot, you're bringing homage to some of your most famous storylines with Flashpoint, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now you're referencing Blackest Night. You can go have Hal snap and do a 0 Hour type reference. You're bringing in Flash of Two Worlds with Eobard and Barry teaming up. Like there's so many of your best storylines that you're paying homage to without milking dry. So it's a perfect way to wrap up the universe and boot into something new. It's like we're honoring the things that got us this far and using them to fuel where we want to go in the future.
And then from there, like you say, you keep the best and all the stuff that didn't work and doesn't work, get rid of it.
I want Bruce to die. I think Bruce has to die at the end of this, no matter what, because I like the idea of Nightwing being the new Batman going forward. I feel like he's established enough now in the comics lore where it's not this cheap takeover where it's for a year and then you bring Bruce.
You can't do death. Like the death has been deemed irrelevant and everybody sees through it. Instead, is Bruce just walks away. One, he killed. He can't.
I like that.
The Batman,
the
Batman that he was, he can't be that anymore.
No, you know what you do? You flip what happened to Hal. Bruce gets killed, but the Spectre chooses him as the new host. And that's how he comes back. And then you have Bruce Wayne as Spectre in the DC comics going forward. Who better to pass judgment? That's the Spectre's whole fucking thing, is passing judgment on you.
Bruce can't pass judgment anymore. Like, dude, you say you weren't going to kill and you killed. Who are you to tell me nothing?
Dude, he sat on the Mobius chair. Like, he's got infinite knowledge.
Solomon had infinite knowledge, and he still turned heel and went bad and went rogue.
I'm just saying that would be a cool spinoff as Bruce's Spectre.
Yeah, maybe we can kill him after. I like Bruce leaving for 2 reasons. 1, he killed, and 2, he's freaked out. What he saw, he had there was no doomsday contingency for Hal for what he saw. he needs to like. I gotta go. I need to do a lot of soul searching to myself. I need to find out what it's something's out there that can prevent that. I need
And
to find it.
the one person that both sides go to, but he decides to just stay neutral, John Constantine.
Hmm. Yeah, I got no dog in this fight.
Yeah, because they're thinking magic can affect both the lanterns and the Speed Force users. He could technically enter the Speed Force with his level of magic, but he's just like, nope, fuck all that.
Like, I don't know what you guys got going on there, but that seems to be a mess. And
It's,
I know
and,
messes.
and he's like, I saw Zero Hour, mate. I've seen what Hal can do when he snaps. I want none of it.
Like, all that seems to be a little crazy. Like, good luck with that though. You let me know how it works out.
I really just love this scene. It takes place on, say, Earth 3 of Sinestro and Batman's whole team trying to take out Hal and drain his battery. And the other lanterns that are with Hal, boom, their fucking rings are sucked dry. There's nothing. Boom, they fall out of the fucking bow. And Hal's just standing there. Because Hal doesn't even have a percentage on his ring anymore. He is fueled by his own will, which has been seen to be infinite. So
Can't Sinestro see their ring gauges? Couldn't Sinestro see it?
yes,
Me.
yes, he can.
So he would
He
see
actually
that.
he programmed Sinestro Corps rings in Blackest Night and Sinestro Corps to broadcast their percentage. That's why when you read, you will see power levels, 87% power level. That is Sinestro. He built that into his ring on cord, and it's broadcasted to all the other Sinestro Corps so they know what lanterns are at their weakest.
So he would see, we've been fighting for a while and his is still at 100. Something's not right. So, and eventually Sinestro would figure it out. He would do the math and it would keep streeting. And you could keep showing. So you could show like 100 small. And then 5 minutes later, a little bit bigger. And eventually you would just show the ring and you would show the 100 as half a page and just see Sinestro's eye just kind of get big.
And then Sinestro takes off. Like the fucking Roadrunner. You just see that dust shadow with Sinestro.
So you would see the fist with the 100 with just Sinestro's eye get really big, and the next scene would just be that line, the yellow line just shooting off. It was just
know what it is? Is it does, that final one with the big fist? It doesn't say 100. It says unable to calculate, or infinite, or something like that.
Just show like an infinite, and he's like, oh, and you realize he's not getting drained. He's just gone.
And then I have this image. So you've seen No Way Home. Remember when Spider-Man takes the box from Doctor Strange and he hits him with the soul punch?
Mm-hmm.
And so I picture Sinestro trying to do that to Hal, hit him with this death punch, and it knocks the emerald version of himself out of his normal body, and then he just flies right back into it and fucking wheels Sinestro back. So Sinestro lands what he thought was a death shot. Yeah, he's like, yo,
I just put what should have ended any. And it's something that takes so much of his power. So all the energy he had left, he used to leave.
Dude, it's a piece of the Black Lantern battery that he kept like inside his ring, like they kept parallax. So he literally hit him with a death punch. Like he summoned the little bit of power he had of a Black Lantern that he kept for like the biggest emergency.
Yeah, like this is it. And after that, he takes off. Like whatever energy he had left, he used to leave.
And it's that perfect panel, like you said. So so picture the panel of Hal, his body like this, but his green spirit right behind him just goes right back into it. And that's when you see the Power Fist Infinite. And then you just see the yellow streak. It's not like you have a panel of his eyes going wide, realizing what happened. And then the panel, just the yellow streak going out.
Yep. Nope. Done.
And I just want to say the van is still out here and there's still someone in it.
Hey, I mean, we all need a hobby. So,
dude, what's crazy about this storyline is, unlike our Franklin Richards one, I feel like we've built more on this because the people that we have in these teams with their own individual schemes and motivations add such a fucking layer of awesomeness to it. You know what I mean? Because it's these people working together, not because they have to or want to. It's because in some way it helps them accomplish the goal they have, which is different from the others, but still connected because of this overall story.
And they all realize it and they all don't care. Like, don't care. I have to do this for my ends. Like there's motivation and there's a reasoning behind everything. Yeah, that's what you need.
In my head, this is 12 main issues. And then you could do like 3-issue spin-offs of each individual, like Lex Luthor has a 3-issue spin-off and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, the reveal of Lex having the orange ring and wanting to acquire the other rings, because for some reason each version of a Lex has a lantern ring because Blackest Nights have affected every universe. So he's basically trying to assemble each of these rings from the previous Lex while getting the information for him. Like that, just that reveal, that final panel of a box opening, and you just see that orange lantern ring is such an amazing callback because it was shown in Blackest Night and one in the Untold Tales Lex Luthor issue, which not a lot of people know is very small print. It shows at the end he still has 22 hours left of charge in that orange lantern ring. He was only an orange lantern for 2 hours before they got it off of him.
All right, he's bringing it out. Everybody's
And then
using their end game material for
and
this.
then that's the last issue is called like 22 hours. And that's like Lex's story where the moment he puts on that ring, that's when you know the finale is fucking starting.
And every few panels, like every couple of pages, there's just a timer on it. Just randomly throughout the comic, there's a timer as you go through.
Like just same way they do the power, yeah, the same way they do the power levels for a Green Lantern, you see the timer ticking down for his Orange Lantern. But like, tell me that's not so cool. The idea that's actually in the canon is that he kept that ring. That ring is aside somewhere in a vault in Cadmus. So the idea of 15 years
random hallmarks are great. Like they're fantastic. So this is what this needs to be. This one, the Marvel one, where we do a Star Wars, it's the random callbacks and to just reset it.
I think we should start calling this segment Geigo Does It Better. Am I wrong? Because I feel like whatever we're taking, we're just be like, dude, this is how you make it better. Because am I wrong? Our storyline pays homage to such great fucking storylines. Like, and it truly is amazing, and it's such a small knit team on each side, but yet these multiversal devastating consequences. But yet you don't need the whole DC universe.
That matter of fact, that's how they get rid of Superman.
Superman's not in this story at all. How crazy is that?
Well, yeah, no, he doesn't need to be because Batman figured out a way to do the flower, but different. Not his perfect world, but a way to save his perfect world. So it's a way that he could save Krypton. It's just different variations of him trying to save the planet.
And here's one for you. You find out when Max Mercury comes in at the end to kind of like level shit, you turn out that not only was he able to study the negative speed force while he was stuck in it, but somebody out there sensed him being sucked from the positive speed force to the negative speed force. And then you come to find out in a flashback panel, it was Dr. Manhattan. And Dr. Manhattan teaches Max Mercury while they're in the negative speed force the shit he needs to know to be able to stop what's going to happen. Because there's your final button tie-in.
Yeah, because even Manhattan's universe would be destroyed and he couldn't stop it.
Yeah, so the way I think about it is it could even be Godspeed if you had to. So say Godspeed gets both energies, right? And gets super power up. And when he starts to detonate, there's that moment like in Marvel when they snap the Infinity Gauntlet and you're in Soul World. So imagine that like he gets overloaded and then comes to, and it's Dr. Manhattan standing there. And he's kind of like in a world between worlds place. And it's like that's how you bring Manhattan's storyline in to kind of help set everything. So he informs Max Mercury of what he needs to know to be able to fucking end this situation. And that's such a cool speedster callback because Max Mercury, you've heard me talk about endlessly on this show, how he's such an underrated and unknown character. So the idea of him being kicked into the negative speed force, even finding out he's alive from that is such a cool twist. But then to find out that's where Manhattan came in, because man, that's a universal shudder. Like, you know how in the Snyder Cut, when Superman dies, the screams ripple through the universe? Yeah. So Manhattan felt the Speed Force shift like that. Because in DC, the Speed Force exists outside all the other forces of time and everything. So because Manhattan experiences everything at once, he can sense those shifts as well.
He explained the only way to save it is you need to pull those pieces of him back together. Like it's gonna he's ripping apart existence itself.
Oh yeah, like we're gonna have. There's gonna be timelines that are deleted. There's gonna be universes that flashed out.
That's the whole point. The whole point is to recreate pretty much Earth Prime, and with the things you want and the things you don't want.
Exactly,
time.
which is why Flashpoint on Infinite Earths is the perfect fucking title.
And so this will start one point, which will branch. Eventually, there'll be more Infinite Earths again. It'll rebranch out, but it all comes down to one singularity, and it then will start from there. So all Elseworld will be brand new. If you want to retell an Elseworld, do all that, but it all starts from this point.
So here's the best fucking callback for you that I just had. Remember when I was talking about Lex powering his suit with one of the rings? You want to know where he learns about that? One of the alternate universes they jump into is Amalgam, and from the Iron Lantern, Hal Stark, who powers his Iron Man suit with his Green Lantern ring.
Nice.
That's where Lex learns the tech to be able to modify his. How the fuck? So then you even bring in an Amalgam for a callback, and that's a small, 1-page fucking panel of just him at fucking, fucking, what is it? It's Ferris Industries, because it's Stark Industries and Ferris Air Command. So it's him at Ferris Industries, because that version of Lex Luthor is obviously close with Hal Stark, because they're both rich tech billionaires.
Yep.
So he discovers how to be able to use the ring power in his suit.
I like it. And that's it. And that wraps it up.
That does. Dude, that was amazing. If you guys want to check out more, we're going to be free-throwing this storyline. We'll try to throw a couple issues a month at you. I'm going to be creating some covers. Stay tuned. As always, like us on the Facebook. Check out our new YouTube. And get ready for Get Your Godzilla On, coming live later this afternoon. I've been Chuck Keywatts.
I've been D.
And you guys have yourselves a week.
And we're also going to have, I guess we probably need to expand on the Marvel reboot with Franklin Richards and a little bit of the old Star Wars. I mean,
we do. So yeah, look for later tonight. We're going to do either a Marvel or a Star Wars video. We're recording all day here, people, because we're on fire. So check us out. Get Your Geek On is back, baby.